So I was uploading this video, and of course there's Eagles breaking news. And of course the Eagles breaking news relates to what we're going to talk about, at least some of this video. So I wanted to update you guys on what was going on. First thing, Eagles signed tight end Hakeem Butler off the Carolina Panthers practice squad to the active roster. I think he was a 4th round pick, they said, with Arizona. Don't know much about him, okay? And then they get Dallas Goddard. They put him on IR, which means he's going to miss at least the next 3 games, which is about right because in my video I said he's going to miss maybe 2, but it's actually going to be 3 because he's on IR. And then the Eagles activated Quez Watkins to practice. So he's coming off the IR. He can practice, and that gives the Eagles 21 days to put him on the active roster. So that's what's going on today with the Eagles and some moves. Now let's get to the video. You know, I've been hearing the voices, the people screaming for the last 2 days, Folesian Society, assemble! I've heard it. And you know, I'm concerned about Carson Wentz. I'm concerned about him too. I'm concerned about his play, his weight, his inability to move compared to last year. I'm worried about him. But what I'm even more concerned and more worried about is Doug Pederson running this offense and his inability to get this offense and get Carson Wentz going. Yo, everybody, Dude King Ding back here. So today we have come with the hell is that? It's a big ass dog. Dallas still stinks. Yo, everybody, doing King Ding back here, and I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. I hope you guys are doing well. You know, we got a big game on Sunday. We got a game in which if we lose, we're 0-3-1. 0-3-1 is insane. I just can't believe we even have a chance to have that kind of record. Okay, but if we win, we're right back in this thing. I mean, we're a half game out of Dallas, like a full game out, I guess, with Washington being that they beat us once. There's a lot of football left to play. A lot of football left to play. Well, at least for some of us, right? Because in Tennessee, they had 3 players test positive for COVID-19 84. They have 5 staff members have it. So they have like 8 people total. They had to shut down their facility. Minnesota, who stinks this year too, they had to shut down their facility even though nobody's test positive, but they just played Tennessee. So I don't know what's going to happen. My guess, if I had to guess what that whole thing is, they're going to reschedule the Tennessee-Pittsburgh game, and then I think Minnesota plays Houston. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if they do, but I'm sure those games are going to get canceled or rescheduled, and I would have to think that the NFL had a plan for this all along. They had to plan for this. And to be quite honest with you, I'm surprised that we're at week 3 and this is really the first time this has really happened. I think Atlanta had McCarron. I think he tested positive right before week 3. But nobody in Atlanta tested positive since, so that's good. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I assume they're going to reschedule the games, but the rest of the games will go on, and so that's what's important. The Eagles, they will be playing, and some people are asking me, do you think this means the season's going to be canceled? No, they have a plan for this. It's going to happen, and it's probably going to happen to other teams again throughout the season. It's just the way it is, but we'll see what they do. As far as the Eagles go, I know you guys probably heard Dallas Goedert. He has a fractured ankle. I mean, that sounds bad, right? A fractured ankle. But the good news is it's a slight fracture, doesn't need surgery, and they're thinking he's going to be back within 2 weeks. So if that's the case and you get him back in 2 weeks, that's a break, man. You know, it's a fracture, but, you know, it's a break that we basically are getting him back in 2 weeks. It could be a lot longer. We need Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is my man. I love that guy. Future #1 tight end. Sorry, it's just the truth. I love him. But he'll be back in a few weeks. So we got to hang in there. Deshaun, we'll see what happens. There's optimism that he still might play. And look, they haven't put Rager on IR, which is also a good sign that he may be back sooner than later. So, big game this week. And I know a lot of people are talking about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz this, Carson Wentz that. Carson Wentz is trained with Michael Anthony. Where's the fitness? What the hell's going on? And I get it all. But I got to tell you, as bad as he played last week, I thought there were some positives to push forward with. For him to go down and score a touchdown to tie it up, I thought was huge for the Eagles. I thought it was huge for him. I thought he was denied a moment at the end of the game to make a play and to put his team in a better position to kick a game-winning field goal, which would have possibly gave him a lot of confidence going forward. And I thought Doug Pederson took that from him because, and I've said this a few times already, but you get the quarterback sneak, right? We think Miles Sanders gets a first down. They say, no, he's short, 3rd and inches. Carson sneaks. Next play, they run. They're very slow to line up. They're taking their time. Then they do a quarterback draw, which was basically designed for him to keep it. And it was clear at that point, the Eagles were trying to run the clock out to kick, which was like a 54, 57-yard field goal. And I think that is insane. I think that it was an insane situation. I don't mind the run play on first down, but you should have been trying to get at least another 15, 20 yards in order to put yourself in a better position to kick a field goal. So that way, if your offensive lineman jumps off sides, you're still in field goal range. But they didn't do it. And Doug panicked in that situation. He didn't know what to do. He didn't show faith or trust in his quarterback in that moment. And that was the moment in which you really needed to show faith in him and let him work through his struggles. But they didn't do it. Okay? They didn't do it. It would have been a great headline if you could have said, Carson Wentz struggles, but comes through in the clutch. It changes the dynamic of how a guy sees himself, how his confidence is, and how the team and other people around him even fancy him. Doug took that away. He panicked. He didn't want to put it in his hands, obviously. And that was the situation. I mean, Doug couldn't dial up a 10-yard pass over the middle. You didn't have to rush. You could have let the clock drain, and you would have been fine. But they didn't do it. Now, I thought that was a big mistake. And I look at Doug over the last few years, right? We've blamed Mike Groh a lot. We've said Mike Groh's this, Mike Groh that, Mike Groh that. And Mike Groh might stink as offensive coordinator. No doubt about it. I'm not saying he's great. But a lot of the same problems persist. A lot of the same type of vanilla running offense, same type of play callings persist. So there's only one guy that has been here throughout. And that's Doug Pederson. Doug Pederson is calling the plays. Doug Pederson does not have an offensive coordinator. Who's designing these plays? They're horrible. They came out week 1. They were throwing bombs. Bomb. Bomb. Bomb, right? And it was good to see them go downfield and take shots. But guess what? After that, they haven't done it really since. They really haven't gone deep since. I don't see them have one play for Deshaun Jackson to throw him long, see if you could get him open. They haven't done it. They've reverted back to what Doug always does, these little dig dunks, quick passes. They're not doing enough as far as I'm concerned. They're not balanced enough, and their plays are very vanilla. They have Carson, they keep him in the pocket, and when you saw big plays last week versus Cincinnati, the one thing you saw is every big play pretty much came on a Carson Wentz run or when he was moving outside the pocket. That is where he's at his best. And Doug doesn't design things for him. So my biggest concern, yes, I'm concerned about how Carson is. I'm concerned about his confidence. I'm concerned about all those things. But I'm also very concerned about Doug's inability to say, my quarterback is struggling. This is what I have to do to get this offense going. These are the changes we have to make, and that's what we're going to do. I worry that he can't do it. He's going to have to show me that he can, because from what I've seen this year, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it last year. I haven't really seen it since 2017. In 2017, when Carson got hurt, the Eagles had a bye week, right, before they played Atlanta. Doug Pederson came out. They changed the offense to fit Nick Foles. They changed it, added more RPOs, and it worked really well. First half of Atlanta game, it didn't really work, but I thought Nick, from the second half of that Atlanta game, started playing really good. But it was clear that the Eagles had adjusted the offense for Nick Foles. Was that Doug Pederson or Frank Reich? That is a fair question, because last 2 years with Groh and Doug Pederson, they have played an offense that does not fit Carson Wentz as a quarterback. And they were supposed to get more vertical this year. They were supposed to do more things that fit Carson Wentz. And after, I would say, one first half against Washington, they've kind of said, forget this. We're going to go back to what we do. Pretty much. I don't see shots downfield. I don't see Carson rolling out, moving out. I mean, look at the Rams game we played. Look at McVay. How many times did Goff move? How many times did Goff get out of the pocket? Now, I'm not saying it should be bomb, 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 bomb. I don't even care if it's bombs or not. What I care about is doing things that your quarterback does good compared to things that you want. I don't know, and I'm worried that Doug can't draw up things that will work for Carson Wentz. So you hear a lot of things about Carson Wentz is changing the plays, and Doug's calling the plays, and Carson changes them. And people say, oh, well, that's Carson's fault. Why would he change the plays? Well, clearly, maybe he's not comfortable with what Doug's calling. So that means there's a disconnect between the coach and the quarterback. That the coach is calling plays that his quarterback doesn't like. So you need to call and do things that your quarterback does well. And Doug has to show us this week that he can do it. And it's not just passing the ball or Carson Wentz. Where's Miles Sanders? You know, I have a video coming later in the week about Miles Sanders. But where's Miles Sanders? He had 18 carries, okay. But you don't use him right. They don't use him right. Miles Sanders is the scariest weapon on this team right now. He's the scariest weapon on his team. He should be all over the place. You know, and I'm going to get more into Miles and how I see him fitting into this offense. But you don't run the ball off. You have Miles Sanders. Give Elijah Holyfield a chance. Bring him up. Let's see what he can do. Corey Clement's too slow. But Doug keeps doing the same things. Even Boston Scott. He treats Boston Scott like Boston Scott is just another running back. Boston Scott should be treated like Darren Sproles was. He should be using that role, and he's not. And my biggest fear is part of Carson's struggles, and what makes his struggles and his bad play continue longer is because the lack of innovation on the offense, the lack of making and using the players around you to your strengths. They don't do that. They just try to constantly fit basically a square peg in a round hole. That's how I feel Doug handles his offense a lot of times. And he's got to do a better job. Now, of course, Carson deserves a lot of blame, and I'm not putting it all on Doug. What I'm saying is we all talked about how Carson struggled, the missed passes, the fumbles, the incompletions, the interceptions. We've talked about it. But the coach, the offensive coordinator, at some point on some level, he has to help this quarterback out. He has to. And Doug's play calling was pathetic. And what I saw at the end of that game in overtime was really pathetic. He was a coach playing scared. And it's like they say, scared money don't win. And that's how I felt. Whether you think he should have punted or kick a field goal or go for it, to me, that's not even where it was lost. Where it was lost was after you got the first down and you're trying to settle for a 54, 57-yard field goal instead of trying to get more yards and be aggressive. That's where you lost the game. That's where your quarterback could have gained confidence. And that's where Doug Pederson really screwed up. So what is he going to do Sunday to get things going, to make the offense run easier, to play the complete and total offense to their strengths, to play Carson Wentz to his strengths, to use Miles Sanders the right way? That's what you have to do. And we're going to see if Doug Pederson could do it, because I think Doug Pederson, he's a good coach. He's a good manager of players, but he needs an offensive coordinator. He needs somebody to design the plays. That's not his strength, and it's killing us right now. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.